as I started to read this, I was like, this is brilliant. This is flippin' brilliant. It was channeled information. It says, God does not forgive because he is never condemned. Let's think about that for a moment. God, Spirit, Buddha, Allah, whoever it is for you, universal energy, does not forgive. It does not have the need to forgive because it doesn't condemn in the first place. And that's what I realized when I had my second near-death experience, was they kept saying, we need you to love yourself as much as we love you. We need you to forgive yourself because we've already forgiven you. There was no forgiveness in the first place because there was no condemnation, right? So think about that in your own life. So God does not forgive because he is never condemned. And replace God with, universal energy or whatever it is. If you have a God-phobic mind, right, that you're brought up in, different faiths where God was, hammered into you, or, if you want to replace it with something else. I see the word God as being an energy, right? Pure light, loving energy. It is not a man, it is not a woman for me. It's pure love, pure light. So pure love does not forgive because it never condemned you in the first place. And there must be condemnation before forgiveness is necessary, right? Forgiveness is a great need of this world. It's true. People feel that they either deserve forgiveness, or they can withhold forgiveness, or they need to give forgiveness. It is something that is in the human psyche that we see it as a priority of some sort, one way or the other. But that is because this world is of illusions. It actually says that, Course in Miracles. This is an illusion. Those who forgive us, thus releasing themselves from this illusion, while those who withhold forgiveness are binding themselves to the illusion. How does that feel? It hit me as I was reading this. I was like, oh my God, by forgiving everyone, and I'm not just talking, the people that you feel are enemies. I mean, I'm talking everyone, the Klaus Schwabs, the Bill Gates, those guys of the world. By forgiving everyone, you remove yourself from the illusion. You release yourself from the illusion. But the more that you hold on and say, those guys are bad and they're enemies, and look at what they're doing, look at this, look at that, look what they're doing with children. I know, I get it. I lived in that world for 17 years as a national child advocate. I wrote 14 laws to protect children, right? I was probably one of the deepest dive, advocates on the planet. And it's now time to realize that all of this is an illusion. And the way for you and me to heal it is to forgive everyone concerned, including ourselves. Okay? As you condemn only yourself, so do you forgive only yourself. Yet, although God does not forgive because he didn't need to, because there was no condemnation in the first place, his love is nevertheless the basis of forgiveness. His love is nevertheless the basis of forgiveness. So all forgiveness is based on God's love, God's light, right? The universal energy. Whatever label you want to put on it. Fear condemns and love forgives. Fear condemns and love forgives. Wow. Forgiveness thus undoes what fear has produced. Wow. Forgiveness thus undoes what fear produced. Returning the mind to the awareness of Creator, of God. For this reason, forgiveness can truly be called salvation. It is the means by which illusion disappears. Everything will dissipate. Everything will just go. The moment that we practice forgiveness and realize that we actually don't need to forgive, other than that we judged in the first place. So once we realize that we don't need to judge, then we can let go of the forgiveness as well. That's why it's like, now don't judge, right? Because we don't want to have to go through the loop of forgiveness. And that's your illusion, right? So, today's exercise is required 3 full 5-minute practice periods. So this is typical of the Course of Miracles. And what they said is, if you are doing this exercise well, you should have no difficulty in finding a number of people who you have not forgiven. It is a safe rule that anyone you do not like is a suitable subject. Mention each one by name and say this. Are you ready? This is your exercise for today. And you do it at least 3 times during the day, morning, afternoon, evening. What you say is, God is the love in which I forgive, and put the name in. So, God is the love in which I forgive you, Bill Gates. God is the love in which I forgive you, Bill Gates. God is the love in which I forgive you, Bill Gates. God is the love in which I forgive you, Bill Gates. God is the love in which I forgive you, Klaus Schwab. God is the love in which I forgive you, Klaus Schwab. God is the love in which I forgive you, Klaus Schwab. See, it made me choke up because the forgiveness is bubbling out. So one more time. God is the forgiveness in which I forgive you, Klaus Schwab. God is the forgiveness in which I forgive you, and name a family member or friend. God is the love in which I forgive you. God is the love in which I forgive you. God is the love in which I forgive you. And fill in the name. So, the purpose of this first phase of today's practice period is to put you in a position to forgive yourself. So, let's start with that. God is the love in which I forgive myself. God is the love in which I forgive myself. God is the love in which I forgive myself. God is the love in which I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I truly forgive myself. I truly forgive myself through God's love. God is the love in which I forgive myself. And breathe in between these. And keep going if you need to. You'll feel the release. You'll feel all of that stuff. It just is released. Then devote the remainder of the practice period to adding related ideas such as, God is the love with which I love myself. God is the love in which I love myself. God is the love in which I love myself. God is the love in which I love myself. God is the love in which I love myself. I love myself through God's love. And so it is. There is one more. God is the love in which I am blessed. God is the love in which I am blessed. God is the love in which I am blessed. God is the love in which I am blessed. God is the love in which I am blessed. Next is, I cannot be guilty because I am the son of God or the daughter of God. I actually like to just say, I am of God. So I cannot be guilty because I am of God. I am not guilty because I am of God. I cannot be guilty because I am of God. I cannot be guilty because I am of God. God's light is me. I am God. Therefore, I cannot be guilty. I cannot be guilty because I am forgiven. Everything that I have said and done that may have hurt feelings or hurt other people or have judged them, I forgive myself. I forgive myself, I forgive myself, I forgive myself. And I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. I have already been forgiven. I have already been forgiven. I have already been forgiven. No fear is possible in a mind beloved by God. No fear is possible in a mind beloved by God. No fear is possible in a mind beloved of God. A mind beloved by God and of God. If your mind is of God, no fear is possible. You see? There is no need to attack because love has forgiven me. There is no need to attack because love has forgiven me. There is no need to attack because love has forgiven me. And there is no need for an attack because God has forgiven all. There is no need for an attack because God has forgiven all. There is no need for an attack because God has forgiven all. You see, there is no need for war because God has forgiven all. Okay, and the last one. God is the love in which I forgive you. So, if someone is being aggressive towards you or not as kind, say silently to yourself these words. God is the love in which I forgive you. Say these words. God is the love in which I forgive you. And say it over and over as they stand, maybe having a rant. God is the love in which I forgive you. God is the love in which I forgive you. Because you realize that when two people are fighting, and if you engage in that fight, you then start robbing each other's energy. The aura that surrounds you both begins to get torn apart. So when you say, God is the love in which I forgive you, you're actually saying to them, I'm forgiving you for trying to steal my energy, my energetic field. I forgive you. So if someone is being upsetting to you at a store, or just simply say, God is the love in which I forgive you. So the thing about doing these exercises is this. Your spiritual advancement often gives you opportunities to apply these gifts that you're being given, to retrain your brain, to step into a higher consciousness, you see. So sometimes people will come to me and go, but Carrie, my life has really become difficult. People are screaming at me and I don't know what to do. I said, yes, you do know what to do. This is your opportunity to apply what you've just learned. You know what to do. You simply say to yourself, or maybe even out loud, God is the love in which I forgive you. You say that repeatedly. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. When someone is arguing with you, yeah, I know, honey, and I love you. I do love you. I love you. I love you with everything that I have. I love you. You say that over and over, and it breaks down all aggressive energy. So this is my lesson for today, and I'm glad that I'm able to share my lesson with you, and hopefully it becomes your lesson as well. And the lesson is, through God's love, anything is possible. God is the love in which I forgive you. Okay? Much love to all of you, and we'll chat soon. Actually, the next video, we're going to go into the strength of trust, right? So in the book, The 5 Lessons of Life, you've got the 5 lessons. The third one is, the first one is forgiveness. And that's what we just addressed here. Tomorrow, I think the next one will be about the strength of trust. Okay? And we'll do the same thing, applying from the Course of Miracles. beautiful channeled information. Gosh, I think it was in the 70s it was written. And it's a wonderful tool for us to step into God's light. You practice this 3 times a day. Watch this video 3 times a day. Come along with me. Say the words. Close your eyes. Feel these words. Speak these words as if you are drinking them up. Allow every cell in your body to absorb them and practice them. Okay? And you might have to pause the video, every once in a while to continue saying the words, like when we did the first one, God is a love in which I forgive you, Bill Gates, for instance. You might have a litany of people that you want to forgive. And so just stop the video and say it over and over, applying, and keep saying it until you actually feel the forgiveness starting to bubble up. And if you're at a point where it's still not there, trust that you're going to do this exercise over and over for maybe a week. It might be 21 days that you need to do it. Okay, just keep coming back to this video every morning, every afternoon, every evening. And go to the chapters so you don't have to watch the whole video, right? Just go to the first chapter and start the practice. And in that, you will change your life. I promise you. Also, turn off the TV, turn off the radio, mainstream media. Everyone is now understanding who they are. So, stop feeding your mind, because what they're doing, they've been harnessing our minds to manifest, because they know that group consciousness is the greatest tool. So what better tool than to get everyone watching one program and putting in this program into our minds so that we collectively think something. Well, I'm breaking that thought here and now, and I'm claiming my power back and yours as well. And so collectively, we are going to gather and we are going to heal this planet. That is my mission, and I hope it is yours as well. So as you can see from the before and the after pictures, I'm doing much better. I've had a lot of miracles, and it's been because I've been giving up to God. I've been saying, okay, I'm not going to do this fight any longer. I'm putting it in your hands, dear Lord. And in turn, I'm going to focus on what is good about this. And so it is. So go and journal. What is good about this? What did you learn today? Much love, everyone.